Amid Aleph. Abishol Arve plural Shtayim. To teach me that there's two mitzvahs with Arava. Achas Lulav. One is to teach me that an Arava is placed as one of the Arba minim in the Lulav. V'ata Lemigdash, that they used to make hakafas with the Arava. The Rabbanon Lemigdash B'Nalu. Where are the Rabbanon who don't learn the drush of Arve? Where do they learn that there's a din of Arava by the Migdash? Hilchasik Mirlus Halach L'Moshe Misinai. Dam Rav Asi Am Rav Yechon Eser Netias. There's a din that if you have a base saw 5,000 square amas and you have 10 plantings in that area spread out, you can plow Erev Shemitah the Eser Netias. It's a special halach l'Moshe Misinai. Arava, the din that you have to make hakafas with Arava on Sukkos, v'nisach hamayim, and the din that instead of doing nisach hayayin on Sukkos you do nisach hamayim. Israel halachas Moshe Misinai. Tarabanim arvei nachal agdelos al nachal. We're talking about Arava that grow on a river. Prat lev tzafzafa agdele bin arim. Tzafzafa is a type of Arava that grows in the mountains. That we can't use. Amrav Zeir, Mikra. Kacha Mayin Rabim, Tzafzafa Sama. Take Arava that grow on a lot of water. So the Gemara says, Amalei Abai v'dilma prusha kamafarish. Maybe the pasuk is telling you what kind of Arava to take. Kacha Mayin Rabim, Umayni Tzafzafa. What is the kind of Arava that grows on Mayin Rabim Tzafzafa? So im kain my samo, otherwise it wouldn't say that tzafzafo samo. So the perush is like we said before. Amar v'avo Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ani amarti sheYisrael lefanei kach al mayim ravi. Yisrael should be in front of me like the Arava that grew on mayim ravi. Remind you Arava. Ve'ein samo atzman ketzafzafo. But they rebelled against me. They made themselves like a tzafzafa that grows in the mountains, not on mayim. Kach hamayim ravim tzafzafa samo. That's the pasuk. Ikidimatzin alai kra masnisa kach hamayim ravim tzafzafa samo. Maski for observe dilo prusha kamafar. Maybe it's to explain what kind of a rava kach hamayim ravim mayni tzafzafa. It came my samo amravo amar kosh baruch ani amarti. She Yisrael lefanei kach hamayim ravim mayni you are rava. Ve'ein samatzma ketzafzafa shabar, and they were not loyal. What's the difference? Arava kana shala adam, the branch is red. Va'ala shalom mashuv, the leaves are drawn out. Pia chalak, it's smooth. Tzafzafa kana shala lavam, the branch is white. Ala shala agol, it's a round leaf. Upik doivel magol. It looks like a scythe. Afraid more about Tanya Doivel Magal Kosher, Doivel Master Apostle. Rabayuki Tanya Yi, Bechil Fagila. That's a name. It's a type of arava that's called Chilfa Gila. And in that, it looks like a scythe. That this would be good for the lulav. Pshita, why would I think not? How to say Mahoil the Isli Shem Levi? It has a special name. Maybe Lo Niskasher. It's got to be a regular arava. Kamash Malan, that it's kosher. Maybe it's not kosher. It's a reboy, any kind of arava will work. Amrav Chizda. The following things, their names were changed after the Churban. Chalfusa, which was once called Chalfusa, is now the Arava, and what was once called the Aravso is now the Chalafta. My nafkamina lulav. We got to know which one can be used for the lulav. Shipura, that which was called a shofar was really a chatzoitzer, was a chatzoitzra, and chatzoitzras of now is shipura. My nafkamina shofar is Rosh Hashanah. On Rosh Hashanah, you got to use a shofar, not a chatzoitzras. Psorta psoira, psoira psorta. Small table. And used to be called psoira, but now the psoira is the real psorta. If you're going to go buy a table, you need to know what's a real table. These are folds of the second portion of the stomach that are now called huvlisa, which is the beikasi. Now, why do we know this? Why do we need to know this? There's a din that if you find a needle in the wall of the Beis HaKoisos, it's so thin that it'll be a treifa. Rav Yosef Afani Omer, Bovel Bursif Bovel. Bovel really used to refer to a place called Bursif. Bursif is now Bovel. L'may nafkamina, l'gite noshim. When you write a get, you got to know where the woman lives. You got to know the specific country that he lives. That for the lulav you need 3 adasim, 2 aravis, lulav echad vetrog echad. Afilu shtayim ktumim vechad ein kotum. Even if 2 of the adasim are cut on the top, and 1 is not. Rav Tafnam afilu shloishtan ktumim. Even if all 3 of them are cut. Rabbi Kiva argues with Rabbi Shmuel. You don't need 3 and 2. One of each is enough. Tanya Rabbi Shmuel, pre-Eitz Hadar, that's singular. That refers to the etrog. You have 1 etrog, echad. Kapois tamarim, it's also echad. That's the lulav. Anaf Eitz Avot, that's shlosha. 3 adasim. Arvenochal plural shtayim. Afilu shtayim tumim v'echad shenekot. Even if 2 of them are clipped on the top. Even if the shloisha are clipped. Afilu shloisha ktumim. You have 1 lulav, 1 etrog. Kachadas echad v'arava. You only need 1 of each. You have to tie the etrog together with the other ones. He doesn't say the etrog goes along with the lulav. So the etrog is separate. However, Minayin Shemat said without the etrog you don't have anything. It's got to be a pure taking. You got to take all 4. Rabbi Shmuel says either way. Boy, if you need complete 1, you should need all 4 to be complete. So you shouldn't have even 1 that. I mean, why? If you don't need shleimim, so even 1 that's not shalem. So how could Reb Tarfon say they all have to be? They all could be ketumim. Rabbi Shmuel changed his mind regarding that. He's masking that meikra din, all you need is 1 of each of the species. Rabbi Shmuel Rav Tarfon. And Shmuel goes like that. Shmuel told the sellers of lulavim, Ashwa Zabinu. Don't make the prices too high, because if you do, I'll darsh them publicly, like Rav Tarfon, all you need is 1 for each one, and they could be ketumim. He didn't want them to raise their prices. He would have raised it otherwise. My time, Elam should make well, Is he lenient? Like he could have been lenient. He could have just darshan publicly Rabbi Kiva, who's making even more. So tlosuk tumi shchichi. 3 that are kotum is something that's found. Chad v'loy kotum lo shchiach. But they have 1 that's not kotum is not shchiach. So he'd rather start off with 3. And that's how we paskin. Etrog hagazul vayovish. Etrog that is stolen or dry, pasul. You need hadar. Shel asher v'shel ira nidachas. If the etrog came from an asherah tree or yanidachas, pasul. If the etrog is the first 3 years of a tree, shel orla pasul. Shel truma tmei pasul. If it was truma became tamei, it's pasul. Shel truma tohira lo yito. Mikra din, if it's truma that's tor, you shouldn't take it. V'im not al kosher. The evidence, if you did it, it's kosher. If you bought the etrog from a Amma Oretz, which is suffix, whether he gave Maisris, which is Dmai, Beishamai Poisim, Beisil Machshirin. Machloikis Beisham Beisil. Beisil says it's okay. Now, if someone brought the etrog from Meister Sheni and brought it to Yerushalayim, Lo Yito, technically it's Roy in Yerushalayim, but L'chatchila you shouldn't do it. The Gemara will explain why. They're not al kosher, but if he took it, it's kosher because there's heter achila. It's Meiser Sheni Yerushalayim. Alta chazazi sarubo. If there are like pimples on the majority of the etrog, or nitla pit muscle, the pitum is removed. Niklaf, it was peeled. Nizdak, it was cracked. Nikiv, it's got a hole in it for chasr kosher. It's missing something. Possible. However, also chazazi samiyuto, if there's boils or pimples on a minority, if nital ukso, not the pitum, but the ukitz was removed, there's a whole nikiv, but v'loy chasr kosher, but there's not anything missing, kosher. Etrog akushi, it's black, kosh possible. Hayarok kakresi, if it's green, like a green vegetable, Rab Meir machshir. Rab Yehuda poisot machlokes tanoi. Shir etrog akot Rab Meir ke egos. Smallest etrog, size of a walnut. Rab Yehuda ke beit, so it has to be no smaller than an egg. How big can it be? It shouldn't be bigger. You should be able to hold 2 of them in one hand. The Rabbi Yehuda. Just the opposite. Even if it's okay, even if it takes 2 hands to hold the esrog.
Oh, yeah.